Welcome back to the Hard Truth Canada. Today, we talk about Mark Carney and his plan to give out money. He wants to give your money away to other countries and businesses who are carbon neutral, who are going to bring down their carbon, and he's going to compensate them for doing so. We're also going to talk today about, maybe we won't talk about it, but I'm going to show you the news article about it anyways. The government has laid off employees, but it's not in the news. They're barely even talking about it. But the spin that the mainstream media is trying to put it as is crazy. So the government goes ahead, lays off a bunch of people, and they spin it as it could be worse. It could be worse if the conservatives get in power. It could be worse. Well, guess what? Under Carney's new plan, Canadian taxpayers' money would be used to financially reward foreign countries and businesses for going green via a global carbon credit system led by Canada and Mark Carney.
Now, crucially, our new plan recognizes one undeniable fact. Protecting nature and fighting climate change are intimately linked. Our soils, our oceans, our trees are the best stores of carbon that we have. In fact, nature-based solutions could get us as a world almost 1/3 of the way to reducing our emissions and helping to stave off the worst effects of climate change. And at the same time, on the other hand, climate change threatens to irreversibly harm our natural environment. Only by fighting climate change can we protect our natural environment. And only by protecting our natural environment can we protect ourselves, our planet, our future from the threat of climate change. So globally, Canada will work to establish international standards for voluntary carbon markets. That will allow those who choose to protect and conserve our environment in order to fight climate change to be compensated for doing so. We understand that values determine value. Canada intends to take a leadership role at the upcoming climate change conference in the Brazilian Amazon, where I know that nature-based solutions will be front and center.
Canada will work to establish international standards for voluntary carbon markets that will allow those who choose to protect and conserve the environment in order to fight climate change to be compensated for doing so. He's going to put the word our environment to make Canadians think that we're talking about Canada. But reality is, he's not talking about Canada. He's going to make it so that businesses such as ones that's invested through Brookfield will benefit the most. Because we all know Mark Carney's agenda here is to push us further away from America, push us away from dirty energy, and get us closer to UK and WEF, World Economic Forum. Now, I'm going to sound like I don't care about the environment, but that's not true. And in fact, I go out into the environment a lot more than majority of people. I go camping as much as possibly I can afford to. And when we are there, we're not camping at these campgrounds that you gotta pay for. We go out into the middle of nowhere, into the bush, where we can only access these roads through what? Yes, that's exactly, you said it. Through Forest Service roads. So without the forest industry, we wouldn't have access to these beautiful spots. But when we are there, rest assured, I make sure that we leave that spot much better than how we got it. In fact, my kids know we cannot leave camp until they pick up all the garbage. And they know damn well that all the garbage means every single piece of garbage, regardless of if it's ours or not. Ours or not. Regardless. So before you guys start thinking, I don't care about the environment, go check out my other page, Exploring XJ, where we go camping a lot. And you'll find at the end of my videos, we make sure that we clean up. Sometimes I don't post it in the video because I'm not trying to get a pat on the back for cleaning up the garbage around camp. Canada will pay or financially support those efforts, including international participants, not just domestic ones. The money from this would come from us. He wants to cut all the problems as he calls it, saying that our country is not green enough, other countries are not green enough. So how can a man who doesn't want to cut down the forests, doesn't want to drill, but yet he's gonna build us a bunch of houses? 500,000 houses. Where's that wood come from? Where's that steel come from? Mark Carney, where do you come from? You are out of this world, man.
And now our natural heritage is facing a new threat. President Trump's unjustified tariffs come with threats to our sovereignty that have one goal behind them: to weaken Canada, to break us so that America can own us, to take our greatest strengths, our resources, our water, our land, our country. That will never happen. Canada is not America. America is a melting pot. Canada is a mosaic.
You know, all this Donald Trump rhetoric, oh, Orange Man is bad, Elon Musk is bad. Are they bad, or are they just going against the mainstream narrative? Status quo as we know it has been interrupted. Is that why they're going, oh, the Orange Man is bad? Orange Man is bad. Americans are bad. Americans are going to come take over our water, come take over our land, come take over all of us. Oh, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. They're you know what I mean? They're just trying to fear you all into thinking that America is going to take over Canada. Here's what I think what happened. Trump knew that Canada was on the verge. On the verge. We can either go one way, we go left, or we can go right. Clearly he doesn't want us to go left, because clearly the left's been taking us down the wrong path. So maybe he was just trying to open our eyes to the whole thing, to the whole problem. And that's pissed off a lot of people on the left. Mainstream media, businessmen, Mark Carney. Now we got the elbows up. Elbows up. Let me tell you. Why don't we put Canada first? Why don't we put Canadians first? Well, that sounds too much like Donald Trump. He's a scary man. Donald Trump, he's gonna take over us and he's going to ruin our country. Really? Really? He's gonna ruin our country. Because I'm not sure how you guys know. I'm not sure if you guys know how tariffs work. But when the Americans put tariffs on us, sure, it might bring business down for Canadians a little bit, but the end cost is going to be on the Americans. Okay? Let's not forget, they are the strongest economy in the world. In the world. So they can subsidize their own people, especially with the trillions of dollars they are cutting. From stupid, let's spend millions and millions of dollars on condoms. Let's spend millions and millions of dollars on gender affirmation or whatever. You know what I mean? You can go watch it yourself. I have a video where Donald Trump goes and talks about, I would call it fraud. But he goes and talks about what the government has been spending money on. You can go find that video. It's in one of my videos. And you can see for yourself what American taxpayers have been paying. People are all pissed off because, oh, Donald Trump and Elon Musk are cutting jobs. Listen. The problem is people are not doing their jobs. Money is going to the stupidest fucking things out there. So instead of just trying to figure out who is who, which ones are bad, which ones are good, we just gotta cut them all and start over again. Start over again. But this time, it's not gonna be so fucking woke. Then, the second video we have is going to be how the government of Canada is cutting workers' jobs, laying them off, and no one's talking about it. And nobody's talking about it. But their narrative on how they're spinning it is, oh, it's going to be worse when the Conservative Party takes over. It's going to be worse, Canada. It's going to be worse, Canada. Instead of even talking or hinting to the fact that the Liberal government has done it.
The future of the public service is uncertain. Its size is currently at a record high with more than 357,000 employees. But that number could shrink depending on who wins the federal election.
Stop throwing cuts! Stop throwing cuts!
Dozens of public servants gathered outside an Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada building this afternoon. That department recently announced cuts to about a quarter of its workforce. Unions who organized the rally are worried more cuts like that are on the way across the entire public service.
It's a huge, basically, moment of devaluation, moment of disempowerment of workers in Canada. And it's scary because we're the first ones. We're hoping that by rallying here today, we'll send a message to Canadians, to our government, to our future political leaders, that this is not an image of Canada that we strive to have in this country.
And they also want the future political leaders to take global political uncertainty into consideration.
I just think that it's a very not a great time for that, given all the things that are up in the air with the U.S. So I would hope that our future is a little more secure.
CBC's poll tracker shows Liberal leader Mark Carney and Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre are neck and neck. Both leaders say they want to stop wasteful government spending. Their strategies on how to do that are different. Carney says he'll cap the size of the public service.
One thing you can see is that the scale of increase in spending and the scale of increase in the public service hasn't been matched by greater productivity in certain areas. So the focus does have to go to that.
Meanwhile, Poilievre says he'll cut the workforce.
We have to cut waste and mismanagement in this country.
Union leaders aren't happy to hear about downsizing from two major party leaders.
Then we're also going to talk about how this government entity called SITE, which investigates foreign interference and shit like that, how they go and talk about Mark Carney is being targeted, and they go and say, oh, it's pro-Carney and negative Carney facts. But I found the chats they're talking about from WeChat, which is a Chinese Facebook kind of thing. And I'll admit, I'll use AI to translate it. And it pretty much, it's pro-Carney. Every single thing has been pro-Carney. I haven't seen one negative thing in there about Carney. But, you know, the government of Canada is going to say, oh, there's fear in it. There's foreign interference in the election, and it's targeting Carney. That's how the mainstream media is going to spin it. But that's not what's fucking happening. That's not the reality. Okay? That is not what happened here. They're just trying to fool you guys into thinking that the Conservatives are bad.
We are aware of an information operation targeting the 45th general election on the social media platform WeChat. The information operation was launched by Yoli Yomien, WeChat's most popular news account. Intelligence reporting links the Yoli Yomien account to the PRC, Chinese Communist Party's Central Political and Legal Affairs Commission. The content of this information operation contains story about the Prime Minister, Liberal Party of Canada leader, and candidate in Nepean, Mark Carney. This content has been amplified in a coordinated and inauthentic way. This information operation had contrasting positive and negative narratives, first amplifying Mr. Carney's stance with the United States and then targeting his experience and credentials. The site task force assesses that the foreign state-backed information operation was intended to influence Canadian Chinese communities and look to mold perceptions about the candidate. The campaign received high levels of user engagement and views, between 85,000 and 130,000 interactions, and an estimate of 1 to 3 million views. WeChat developer Tencent reports that the platform itself has over 1.3 billion monthly active users, but has not disclosed how many of those users live overseas. The activity saw large spikes of what is believed to be coordinated inauthentic behavior on March 10th and 25th, 2025. Following increasing levels of engagement on the platform, the Liberal Party representative was briefed about the findings on April 6th. The site task force will be discussing this issue with Tencent, the developer of WeChat, later today to raise our concerns.
Good morning. Concerning the operation against Mr. Carney that you outlined today, could you provide us with a little bit more information? There's some in the materials, thank you. But about the intent and nature of the information that was amplified online.
So maybe I'll start and then I'll turn it over to Larissa. So I don't think we can speak to the intent. I will say that the PRC should not be trying to shape the opinions of Canadians, especially during an election period. But it was the RRM who was involved in this. So Larissa, maybe you'd like to add to that?
Sure, thank you. I agree with Lori-Ann that we're not going to speak to the intent. I think at our first tech brief we spoke about China in general and how we see them behaving in the Canadian ecosystem and in other elections. In this case, as we've noted in the news release in the background, there were contrasting positive and negative narratives. I think what is important for all of us to take away from the information being presented today is that intelligence links this account to entities of the People's Republic of China, and so whether that's the narratives about Mr. Carney, any other public figure in Canada, or anything else, it's important for Canadians to understand this link that has been covert.
So you tell me, come on, was it pro-Carney or negative Carney? There's a reason why they don't want to tell you the intent on the messaging. Because they got a narrative to push. I've watched enough rallies of fucking Mark Carney. And it's not gonna get me to go liberal one way or another. It's not. I'm not going liberal. But let me tell you, all he talks about is America. America, 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 America. They're coming for our land. They're coming for our water. They're coming for our resources. They're coming for us, is what he talks about. That's all he fucking talks about. He doesn't talk about how Canadians can barely afford their rent. He doesn't talk about how food prices have gone through the fucking roof. He will talk about how gas has gone down a whole 18 cents a liter. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if we never had carbon tax? Let's do the math. Let's do the math real quick. So let's just say, let's do the math real quick, okay? 18 cents a liter. 18 cents a liter. My Jeep takes 70 liters. That's $12.60 every time I fill up my fucking tank. Okay? Every time I fill up my tank. Now say the average Canadian will fill up their tank 52 times a year. That's just being very conservative. That's $655.20 that you have paid purely for carbon tax. That's just on gasoline, and that's just on a weekly basis. I know there's more people out there who will spend more money than that on fuel. With the election coming soon, we all need to do our part and spread the message. So if you see other right-winged channels who are exposing Carney and the truth, please make sure you hit like and subscribe and boost the algorithm for those channels as much as possible. If you haven't seen Mr. Sunshine Baby or Jasmine Lane or Elevate Podcast or I think it's the Moose on the Loose, and there's many more. I'm sorry if I've missed some, but those are the ones that are coming to my head right away. But there's many more. There's a lot more channels out there who are talking about these things. But we need to make sure we are boosting the algorithm so they're not getting blocked. The more people that hit like, the more people that hit subscribe, it sends a message to the algorithms that this is what the people want to see. And it'll push it out more. It'll push it out further. So the more people we can push this information to, the better we will be. Our voices will get heard, and change will happen. But that's on you. We need your help. We do. We all need your help. And I don't care if you subscribe to my channel. I'm not here to make money off of this. In fact, I haven't made a dime. I'm not here to make money, okay? I'm here to spread the message and get the message out. In fact, I put my other channel down on the back burner that I'm passionate about so I can spread the message to other Canadians that we are in trouble if Mark Carney is elected. So please, make sure you like, subscribe, and share these messages to as much people as you can. And not for our sakes, okay? Not for our sakes. Because if we keep going any further, we're going to end up like the UK, which is where Mark Carney wants us to go. That's the direction Mark Carney wants us to go. We're going to end up there. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with what's happening over there. What's happening in Australia. I'm not sure if you guys know that people are being arrested for freedom of speech. But we gotta spread the message, okay? So please, do your part. If you want the country to become if you want the country to be a better place, please do your part. And share. You know what I mean? Share. Like. Subscribe to as many channels as you can that speak the message. People are trying to get the message out. You need to help. We're helping. We need your help. And that's the honest truth.
Thank you. Good. We're going to be serving up some coffee today. Yes. Here to serve. That's our job. This is my beautiful wife, Shannon. Hello, Anna. Hello, Anna. Wow, what a great room. So this is where you solve the world's problems. Yes. Well, I've got a lot of the world's problems for you to solve today. So I'll need lots of advice from all of you. We're going to sing happy birthday to Sharon. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sharon. Happy birthday to you.
We're fighting them on Fox News, which is what they understand. We're sending Doug Ford onto Fox News to show them that we're not messing around up here. And we're going to send Danielle next. Maybe we won't send her. Maybe we won't send Danielle. No, maybe we won't. We won't send Danielle. We're going to keep her. No, keep her. No, that's a bad idea. Forget. Strike that. Just ignore that back there. Selves into a. Don't take it away. I was just saying clean. That was Danielle. She was coming in. A clean energy superpower. Yeah.
How do you feel about being mocked by the Prime Minister of Canada and making you the butt of jokes during the campaign?
Well, I've noticed this with progressive men, how much they talk about how much they support women until they meet a strong conservative woman. And so this is a pretty consistent type of approach that I've seen, not only from the current Prime Minister, but the former one as well. And the attitude is, sit down and shut up. Well, I don't shut up. I make sure that Albertans know exactly how I feel about issues. And I'm going to continue advocating on behalf of my province, whether he likes it or not.